It's one of the biggest investments that the United States government could make to protect Maine lobstermen, up to $50 million over the course of 10 years.
Maine's members of Congress say that would go into research and funding for new gear aimed at protecting the endangered North Atlantic right whale. It would also delay any new regulations for 6 years. News Center Maine's Jack Mulmet explains the plan and has reaction from people who sell Maine lobster.
It is no exaggeration to say that Maine's lobster industry could be facing a complete shutdown, in effect, extinction of the industry.
Maine's congressional delegation coming together Wednesday on the same page.
I've also never seen the Maine delegation, which is ideologically diverse, and the governor more united.
A maximum of $500 million that would go into research and funding for Maine lobstermen. Money would be used to study the right whale's habits, fund new gear for lobstermen, and on top of it all, push any new regulations to 6 years from now.
The lobster industry was, in effect, sentenced to economic death.
A welcome sign for lobstermen who have long maintained they don't see right whales, nor have ever run into one. And bad news for environmental groups who have said this week, quote, anyone who votes for this amendment has the blood of a magnificent endangered species on their hands. But what about the hundreds of people along Maine's coast who depend on buying and distributing Maine lobster?
At this point, we can't afford to just sit here and do nothing about it.
Jillian Robillard of Southern Maine Crabs buys and processes lobster. She says 6 years is welcome.
It's my future, just like it is, every captain and crews up and down the coast. Not even New England, far beyond New England. And it's definitely worrisome having such a big investment and having bills to pay and possibly being shut down.
Further up the coast from Kittery, Sopo Seafoods in Biddeford and South Portland.
It would definitely have affected our business.
Joshua Edgecombe says 6 years is a sigh of relief.
It's massive for Maine lobstermen, for Maine's coastal economy and New England's economy more generally.
But along the Portland Peninsula,
you plan for the worst and hope for the best.
Cullen Burke with Free Range Fish and Lobster says he would have preferred to see more of that federal money go directly to the hands of fishing boats.
I personally question what 6 years means in the long run.
So how early, if the omnibus budget is voted through, could the state of Maine see that money for Maine lobstermen? Senator Angus King says by late spring or early summer. In Portland, Jack Mulmet, News Center, Maine.